World League presented by PlayStation 4. It is time for the North American battle. It is eUnited, the #2 seed in the world, going up against Luminosity Gaming, a team that a lot of our experts are calling to be the #4 overall. Merc, I want to start with you. eUnited on paper, they're the favorites here. But where is Luminosity? When you look at the global league and you put them all in order, where do you have them?
Where do I have them? I definitely have them top 4. Just the slaying potential on this team is too high. You look at Slack, Octane, Saints, even Classic. They can all slay with the best in the world. If they keep improving their search and destroy game, which is a big if because all year long they haven't been able to do it, they could be one of the best teams in the world, if not the best. They could be in grand finals if they're able to improve games number 2 and 5. So we'll just have to see.
They're 1-0 in Game 2 so far. They've won a search and destroy. They'll be looking for their second win. Let's talk, though, about the team on the other side of the stage, eUnited, showcasing how great they are at trading, not only in search and destroy, we also saw it in the uplink. What's the greatest strength of this squad in your eyes, though, Felony?
Gunless.
Gunless, just one player.
No, their teamwork is really good, which makes this such a great series. Luminosity and eUnited are both very fast-paced teams, and they're both very good at the respawn game modes. So if both teams are slaying evenly and playing to their potential, it'll be a great series.
Chance, we'll get your thoughts and predictions on the match in just a moment, but I'm told we got to show you what the players said about each other before this one kicks off.
What I learned from a matchup against LG in pairs is that consistently we've been pretty good, but that was a really off event for us, and there's no chance we're gonna let that happen again because that was like our worst loss.
I took that Paris match as a grain of salt, man. Then both of our teams were on like 0 sleep. You know, it was a best of 3 in an open bracket. It was a weird atmosphere. It was just so many outside factors.
What makes LG a good team is that they have a whole team of like 8 players, so they're just all respawn players. Every single one of them. They have a lot of slaying power.
What makes eUnited a good team is that if those 4 players were not playing together, I don't believe that they would be as successful as they are now. The combination of those players and mindsets makes that team great.
The key to beating LG this weekend is probably just winning our S&Ds.
If we're going to beat eUnited this weekend, it has to be, we have to win respawn, which I'm confident in, obviously, and then it comes down to S&D. If we take 1, I think we'll be okay.
You heard it from Octane. They just got to win 1 S&D. That's going to be the key to victory here. And Chance, we should kind of catch everybody up. Let's talk about the history between these two squads. They haven't met up too often.
Well, just the impressive part about eUnited, their map win record against every single team currently in existence, their only 2 losing records are against Optic Gaming. No harm, no foul against them. It's understandable. And Luminosity. The only time they matched up was in Paris when LG was filling in with a sub, and LG still was able to 2-0 them. So it definitely can be done. But of course, the Paris, you don't want to read too much into that. United, again, fantastic team.
First time in a best of 5. This one could go either way. Who is going to take the lead in our leaderboards for week 3? We're about to find out. Let's send it over to our casters. We got Maven and Mr. Rex to finish out the night.
Excellent stuff, gentlemen. This may be the matchup we've all been looking for. We know it's a battle for that second spot, really, but whoever wins this is in control of the group, man.
Yeah, they're in a great position to run away with this, and especially with Millennium's loss to Epsilon there and the fashion that it was in a 3-0, it puts a lot of pressure on Millennium to win one of those series. Tomorrow, obviously, have a very good day. We saw EG bounce back from an 0-2 day. Millennium the chance to do that tomorrow. I think going into this match, I don't know, man. I mean, looking how eUnited played earlier, they're going to need to play much better to beat Luminosity.
Well, it's one of those. It's not like, you know, Rise versus FaZe last week where we had like a full body of work between these two teams. They played each other 4 or 5 times on LAN. Here, you know, you heard it. There's only really been one matchup and not one that you can take a whole lot from considering the lineup that the Luminosity squad had. There's just not a lot of history this year.
I mean, completely different lineup for Luminosity. You sub out Saints for Pander. And then it's also eUnited's first international event. They're playing through Open.
That was their worst event this year, really.
Right. I mean, it's just a lot of kind of outside factors at that Paris event that I don't think you can take a lot from the scoreline.
Well, the one thing that may be scary for Luminosity is that, yes, we say it over and over again, their slaying potential, how well they can play in those respawns, but United continue to prove, even when they're being outslayed, that they can hang, they can stay close in games, and when it comes down to that clutch factor and those closing moments, they continue to excel. But it will be a retaliation hard point to kick things off. D, I know there's not a lot of a body of work to work from, but who do you favor in this game 1?
I mean, I think you look, the biggest matchup in this one will probably be Octane and Arcides. Like, if Octane just completely dominates that matchup, especially on this map, like a really long, big map with wide sight lines, Luminosity should be able to run away with it. And I think also, you look at how good has Slack's been today. I think Slack versus Gunless is your other key matchup.
And then also, I mean, it's not that eUnited's looked amazing today. I mean, Millennium takes a map up them. There are some close maps, and you watch Epsilon absolutely destroy Millennium. So let's see if maybe eUnited can play a bit better in this one. We're going to kick things off with Gunless. This is their first true test of the weekend.
You see him trying to come over the top, has a nade cooked, he drops. Now Silly has more nades coming over the top. Arcee's in the back with the NV4. Takes out one, takes out a second, takes out his brother as well. But it'll be eUnited. 13 points and counting here as they get on the hard point first.
Well, you mentioned Arcides need to go off and kind of match that power of Octane. He picked up the first 2 kills. Big effort in getting them a lot of time. And, you know, we've actually seen that more and more. You know, we looked at the box score from the last game. It was, what, a 90-4 or something line on bridge. We don't see it a lot, but I can think of at least, like, one time over the past couple weekends where someone's just destroyed here on bridge.
Yeah, when you have a really good AR setup, it's very difficult to break through here. I mean, the NV4 is so good on this hill. You can see Slack running one now for Luminosity just on this first hard point to really take advantage of the long area. We're going to move over towards the market. It should be eUnited getting set up for it first. There'll be Arcides inside the hard point. We'll stay on with Luminosity as they're coming through the backside of the hotel. They're trying to get spawns for the next hill, and they're trying to push down through a market towards this hard point.
Well, Slack getting close to that Scarab, but it's Gunless just going off here at the top plat. One more will challenge. The melee just a little bit short. Saints able to get the better of him. What was 50-50 there at the first hard point is now going to be a nice start and a bit of a lead here for eUnited. Remember, Luminosity battled back on the second half of bridge. They're looking poised to do it here as they're now set up inside.
Yeah, Gunless trying to get down in towards the hard point. Classic's going to be able to take him out, but right now, it seems like eUnited doing a fantastic job. They didn't take a ton of time at the beginning, but just enough, and they're not letting Luminosity getting any points on the board. And you see 2 players from Luminosity already going to rotate at the top of your minimap over towards Cathedral.
Well, we talk a lot about eUnited's teamwork, how well they work together to get these W's. I'm going to go to a team comm. Let's hear it.
Let's go, baby.
Did you kill? Good job. Let's go.
One back broken. No homo. Go.
Yo,
He's back, mark it, Slack. Slack, MV4, or K-bar.
Yeah, he's back.
I got Nick, I responded. Let's shoot.
Still mark it. Still mark it.
I'm baiting. Corner dead.
Good job. That was him.
I'm marking right now.
I'm helping you street.
Mark it, Dad.
You're on street, far street.
I'm in the lobby.
Mark it, anything? I mark
He's
it.
at the white van,
I mark it.
I got one, another one outer.
Outer and another one street.
Back off that.
Street, slack.
Small market.
I got this, go.
One enter. Nado.
He's in her.
Nado backed up. Nado's here.
He's high. Slack.
Slack, one shot.
Blacked on. Dude, 2.
Outer.
on top,
Fuck. He's outer.
Spawn
It's tank. It's fine. Good hill. I spawned new.
Dude, absolutely. Alright, we spawn new?
Yep.
Yeah, we should go.
Let's go.
When it's went hole, it looked like he
I
went
got hell.
Someone's gotta get bar right away. He's already on me.
Last hill.
Where is he?
Same full street. He's on
Last hill. Yo, let's go street.
Dude, got me.
Street.
Another one
In the last good.
All good. Take our time and break this. Go bar.
20, dude. I'm 20 fucking market. I'm gonna try to pinch the guy street. Give me a sec.
I'm in bar.
You could go your bar, guys.
I'm trying to pinch this.
I'll see any bar.
Bar
got me. He's on.
Bar that. 2. One's gonna be street.
Yo, he's fire.
Last guy back. Most likely.
In the back.
I don't see him.
He's gotta be sitting in a corner.
I don't see him. Yeah, he's all the way in the back. Octane. Octane's all behind the car. One shot in the back. You gotta kill him. Good job.
Let's go.
I'm coming. We're coming market.
Hold on. Close on me.
I'm nading.
Dead. Down.
I got it. I got the scared.
On car.
Got him.
Yo, he's plus.
Let's go, baby. Keep it up.
I'm looking straight.
I'm leaving.
I'm pushing bike.
Maven, that is the best listening I think we've ever done. I just love listening to these guys communicate. It's not too much information, right? They're just giving each other the necessary call-outs. You hear they're setting up good plays, and you understand why they're so composed. You can kind of hear it. You know, nobody getting frantic. You know, they rotate early to broken. They don't get it right away. You don't hear any, like, sighs, nobody complaining. They just figure out a way to get right back in.
And one other thing that stood out a little bit, you see Gunless rocking the NV4 here. Typically, we see K-Bar in hand, doing it at long range with that NV4, but it's Arcides busted in, setting up in hotel hallway, trying to swap weapons there and snap 180 on one behind him. Not able to win it, but so far, a big advantage in this game one. Silly continuing to cruise. So right now, I mean, everybody positive for United. Pristini, the only one that really needs to get going, but you got a comfortable lead.
Yeah, first when you said everybody positive, I was like, 5-11 is definitely not positive, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. It's kind of crazy that they were able to have this big of a lead with Pristini, and they're not really giving them much in terms of slaying. He picks up 2 quick kills there before he drops, but he does have a lot of time in the objective. His teammates just doing a good job picking up the kills before they're just kind of converging on him. And the eUnited going into the second half with a pretty nice lead.
Silly actually runs right underneath one there, but able to turn back and win the fight with Slacked. That'll stop the spree for the moment. Now it's going to be Octane setup. Remember, it's 50-50 on bridge the first time. Luminosity set up nicely here, but there is a pinch possibility coming in for eUnited. Octane covers one side, wraps back, covers the opposite side as well. Wasn't able to finish the kill, staying down until he gets a little bit of help. Silly, though, flying high, gets 2 there as he clears it out for eUnited. Unfortunately for him, Slack still alive and well.
And I think Silly's been a big difference maker for eUnited. Back at Dallas, you did not see Arcides play up to how he played during Atlanta. You were wondering where the other kills were going to come from on this lineup. Obviously, we know Gunless, very consistent, always going to put up big numbers. Silly showed up in a big way. And I think if they get Silly on the same page, with Arcides, and then obviously you combine that with what we know Gunless can do, this is a team that can start to outslay some people and make the games a little bit easier on themselves.
Well, they were outslaying early. Now, not the case as Luminosity comes roaring back. Classic getting close to that camo. Saints working towards reactive armor as well. Let's go to Classic when we can, just because he's on a 5 streak right now. Take it back, right as I call that out. He ends up dropping, but LG, they brought it back. They were down as much as, 70 to 80 points. Now, trying to bring it back. Now, you heard the excellent communication coming in from eUnited. I want to hear how Luminosity sounds.
Gunless on hill right now. Yeah, Gunless on hill, fuck. One was inside bar watching his hole, one was top left. I spawned grave too.
We brought it back, good shit, boys, we brought it back.
We need to hold these spawns.
One was lobby, right?
Always snaking.
Bar.
RC's weak.
I show up, Jay.
I needed your lobby. Plat challenge. One bar weak, I had him on a nade.
Gunless one on hill.
RC's down.
Shoot that.
I spawned behind him.
Oh, Benjamin on hill. Last 2 on hill.
They're gonna just get graves.
Tank on me, tank on me. 2 I know.
We gotta hit this.
We gotta hit this.
He's dead. He's helping market. He's gonna be a market. One's gonna be a market.
Could be your bed,
Try to trade that guy down. He's gonna hit me. He's probably gonna hit me.
Yeah, Benjamin.
Don't mark.
Benjamin dead.
One was marked.
Marcus challenging Sam.
One's deep hill.
Right, corner Sam, right corner dead.
Take one shot.
Take that. I'm on hill.
On the heady, Jerry.
Letty, absolute RC's.
Challenge market steps. He challenged market steps.
He's camping
Spawn
market.
bus. We're coming up bus. Yeah, one's deep right. Deep right here. Damn. RC's deep right. He's challenging back door. One's bar curve. He's couch curve.
Couch curve on me, Silly.
On hill, Pierce, 2 on hill, guys, 2 on hill. I'm dead, they pushed me, 2 on hill.
One shot on hill, Pierce. He's close up corner when you go in front door.
I spawn out back, bro.
3 there, I got pinched.
I stay up. Everyone's
stay alive.
Where you at?
Alright, we got one break. I spawn out bridge.
I'm in lobby with Nick.
I'm gonna fight lobby.
He's lobby on me.
Silly lobby weak. Silly lobby dead. Absolute.
We're coming.
Could be another one.
One's in market. Yeah, market's lining me up. He's on.
Market challenge me, Sam.
Are you dead?
Let's get up too.
Yo, in the corner. Pristini, front hill, absolute.
No, he's in the
hill. Gunless hill. Let's trade. Let's go.
Now,
Rotate.
leave
Spawn market steps.
Yeah, I'm getting close to camera.
Z-bridge,
Could be top planet.
Could be back. Yeah. One shot,
James
Jay.
Wall, you hit me.
Don't say anything.
I'm here, Nick. You see anything?
He's on the heady.
Next step.
Two bridge. RC's and one more.
Silly dead. I'm absolute, Nick. I'm absolute.
One's on me, white van.
All right, Matt, so we get to hear both teams there. What do you think about LG?
I like their communication as well. Not too frantic. It's just when they rotated early there, it's not anything to do with their communication. They just got broken so easily. I believe Arcides is in market. He goes on like a little bit of a streak there. I believe it's 4 or 5 kills. Kills Classic, who's watching Saints cross, and they're able to just flood him inside of the hill. But unbroken here. You will see Luminosity in control. They can come back into this game by locking this down.
It seems like one of those tight games that ends up closing out on bridge. I don't think anyone's been able to build towards streaks yet. How crucial those can be down the stretch as Saints goes off. And I was just about to say, he's 200 off that Trinity. That could prove crucial towards the end of the game. If you don't have streaks to work with, it's going to be those payloads. Camo and reactive and their ability to bust through.
And now you see Classic, Octane, and Slack start to come alive. Octane on a 4 streak, Classic on a 3 streak. He's got that active camo. You do have Saints with the reactive armor as well. Both payload abilities up. It's going to be Luminosity going up 1. Now they have control of this hotel hallway. We have seen a lot of teams may have been able to close it out on this one. Very difficult to get in. A lot of teams start to flood 1 by 1.
And I want to see, is Octane close to getting streaks? I know he's got 4 in a row here. Classic just dropped, I think, 200 off the Trinity. So, all right, look how close Octane is. He only has 23 bullets to work with, though. He comes in, fully streaked out as he gets the points as well, and that could prove to be the difference. It might not even matter. They can close it out here. They only need 9 more points. Octane going off. Everyone starts streaking late for Luminosity, but it's 7 in a row, and LG needs one more hold. One more contest comes in. There's the final kill, and Octane goes man mode down the stretch.
A great comeback there from Luminosity. You saw Slacked, Classic, and Octane all come alive towards the end. And I think even if it goes one more hill, they have reactive armor, they have active camo, and Octane has full streaks. We said no RCs and Octane. That could be the difference. You saw Octane go off at the end.
Well, if you're a new viewer and you hear us say, you'll hear, we talk about European teams needing to steal respawns from these top North American teams. And when you talk about a matchup like this, you hear us say with Luminosity a lot, the slaying power. You saw that right there.
Yep.
They're trailing. eUnited had a couple kill advantage, and then Luminosity just erupts. It's like a switch goes off, and all of a sudden everyone can just crush.
It's kind of like what you see from Optic Gaming. Like every once in a while, like Optic, they'll get off to a slow start. Same with FaZe, FaZe in the past. They'll get off to a slow start, and then all of a sudden, you look on the top right of the scoreboard, and everybody's on a 3 streak or a 4 streak, and it just starts to just mound up in their favor, because then they start to get abilities faster, they start to earn score streaks, and then the game gets out of hand.
Well, that game was over even if they made it to Bridge.
Yeah.
Somehow they contested. You'd have the Bombardment, Scorchers, Trinity to go with. I mean, he just able to nuke them out of the hard point. There was nothing they were going to be able to do. Didn't matter, though, as they win it in Hotel Hallway, and now LG in control of this. You took LG first this weekend, right?
Yeah, I thought Luminosity was going to come in here this weekend, and look, obviously there's a lot of things you can do in the game strategy-wise, whatnot. There's no real answer for somebody just killing you more times. There's no answer for just raw kind of gun skill. And I think Luminosity, if they just play to their strength in S&D, which is just attack, I think they're in a better spot.
Well, Luminosity went through some changes coming out of Black Ops 3. If you're new to competitive Call of Duty, let's take a look at how this squad got here.
Luminosity are the respawn juggernauts of the Call of Duty World League. The trio of Slacked, Octane, and Classic were a top 2 team for nearly half of Black Ops 3, and at the start of Infinite Warfare, they left Rise Nation and Looney behind to join up with Saints on Luminosity. With a team of 4 incredible Slayers, the question coming into the year was, who would be the player to take over that leadership role that Looney once filled? How did they make it into the Global Pro League? On the back of their phenomenal respawn game modes. Their consistent and dominant play in Hardpoint and Uplink have carried them at events. And while their online play has been lackluster, this 4-man lineup has consistently placed in our top 8 at major international LAN events. Luminosity's standout performance was at the CWL Atlanta Open, in which they took home 4th place. They began their run with a 4-0 start in pools and a dominating 3-1 victory over Vegas champions Rise Nation in the winner's bracket round 1. Ultimately, though, they were knocked into the loser's bracket by Team Envious and bounced from the tournament by Optic Gaming. However, the 4th place finish, an epic 5-game series with Optic, showed that this team has incredible potential. Moving forward, all eyes will be on Luminosity's continued struggles in Search and Destroy. At the most recent event at CWL Dallas Open, it was a perfect example of the team's weakness. LG won over 70% of the respawn game modes, but only 30% of their Search and Destroys. Luminosity has the raw slaying power to hang with the likes of Optic Gaming, FaZe Clan, and eUnited, but they have to fix their S&Ds moving forward. The goal for this Luminosity roster should be to become a more balanced team in time for the GPL. Tune in May 5th through the 7th to see how Luminosity performs in Stage 1 of the CWL Global Pro League.
Well, the stats you saw there in the video tell the story for the Search and Destroy, but it's the hard point here where you see the guys erupt, and I mean, Slacked had a phenomenal performance.
And you kind of mentioned it, maybe Bridge hard point, that kind of comes into question. Maybe, that's going to what decides the game. And it does. I mean, look at Streets, that second hard point dominated by eUnited. eUnited takes Grave, which usually we see, whoever wins Grave win the game. It's really the Hotel Hallway, which a lot of that time came at the end for Luminosity, and in that first Bridge hardpoint.
Yeah, well, it's like Bridge and Hallway should be your 2 scrappiest, right? They should be kind of 50-50, but Bridge is a bit different than a lot of your first hardpoints on, if you think about, Breakout, Scorch, where, it's more mid-map, there's a lot of different entryways. Their Bridge is kind of outside of the map, you can only really hit it from 2 sides, and you see teams getting better and better, locking down a lot of time.
It's gunfights. winning bridge is gunfights. I mean, you're going to have to, you know, jump over the vans, try and, you know, take out 1-2 players, kind of get the teams, the trades in your team's favor. And you saw Luminosity do a fantastic job of it. And here's where the question marks start to come in. Search and destroy. Second game in this series. Luminosity wins this one, Maeve. We've seen eUnited make crazy comebacks before, and they're going to need one real quick.
Well, I asked you a dumb question in their first series. I was like, after the first S&D, I was like, do you feel better about it or need to see more? And, you know, rightfully so, you said I need to see more. If they take this, though, in convincing fashion over eUnited, I know it's still day one, but they're starting to string together some wins.
I still want to see more.
Yeah, I know.
You're not.
What did I say? Luminosity's going to win 60% of their S&Ds?
I'm not buying a house after one visit. I want to see it a few more times.
I like that. And I did pick them to get fourth because I'm an idiot. But here we go. LG in control over
I don't think
eUnited.
anyone would argue that.
I know. I'm a special breed. I'm an analytical genius.
That's a disservice to everybody on the desk.
That's ever done.
And everybody who's ever been on the desk.
In any sport or esport.
Anyone who's ever done any type of content that put analysis next to it is just ashamed by your comment.
Yeah, Joe, a random guy on YouTube. All right, but Classic, you see, trying to find a vantage point over this brick wall. He's able to hit the edge and win that burst gunless. So now a 3v2 advantage to LG. That shifts quickly. We've got ourselves a 2 versus 2. The assist in for Classic. It's now going to be Silly by himself. You saw him there at back bus. Classic wants more. He's going hunting, and he finds the kill. Plenty of time there for the fuse. A nice round 1 victory for LG.
And that's huge because he's going to get very close to camo. I mean, not extremely close where it's like maybe like 1 or 2 kills, but still, it's a great start. I mean, 3 kills, a bomb defuse. Round number 1 goes in favor to LG. It's exactly what you want to see. Camo, very powerful.
So we talk a lot about in respawn, specifically in hardpoint. One of the big keys, like if you can get streaks early, it's devastating a lot of times for teams. I guess what I would relate that to maybe in Search and Destroy is if your camo guy can go off early. If he can build towards that, you know, get a camo to make a play early. I mean, we don't usually see 2 on occasion. It's very rare, but a nice start from Classic. This time, though, he's cut down immediately.
I love what we're seeing from Luminosity. Just
what
going,
the hell?
Just fighting. Honestly, they need to almost turn this into like just kind of one life TDM where they just find out where the other team is going and they just charge and they fight. And I mean, you see Classic go down first. They're able to win some gunfights mid-map. That's a very fast S&D round.
I believe it was Dallas. I talked to Classic outside after one of their matches, and they were struggling so much in Search, and I just asked, you know, what needs to change? He's like, bro, we are flying at people now. We are going to play aggressive. And they started to do that a bit, but what would happen, they would get ahead. They would win a couple of rounds, but it's like once it got close down the stretch, they would sort of change that method. They would stop flying as much, play a little bit more passive. I'm with you, though. Go. Fly mid-map. This time, though, it ends up being a little bit more split. It's going to be a 2v2. We're on board with Gunless. He will be your bomb carrier, paired up with Silly, as they're trying to take out Slacked and Saints on the other end.
It's like, why not do what makes your team better than other teams? I mean, what makes them better is their slaying power. You see Saints able to get one. We're going to have a 1v1 quick here. It'll be Gunless versus Saints. Erad versus K-Bar, and Saints is able to just peek the fence, baits out Gunless into wasting a few shots, and he's going to get on the bomb. Luminosity coming out hot in S&D.
And that was a sick win, too, because you saw Gunless knew where he was, obviously. Saints, you could tell, wasn't exactly sure. Once he spots him, just shoulder peek, over and over. Just whittles away there at Gunless. This is beautiful stuff. Finally, he challenges and hits all the shots. Nice stuff from Saints. And a gunfight at the beginning of that, I thought that was going to go Gunless's way.
Yeah, I thought so, too. I actually did catch, it's quite interesting. On this map, I was watching Classic and Slacked. I believe like they were like some of the first 2 players here in the morning we did interviews. And they played this map one-on-one Erads and just shot at like range from a distance. Don't want to say practicing for those type of moments at range with the Erad on this map, but see Slacked getting first blood. Classic comes over the top. It'll be Arcides. Alive, quickly dropped. Gunless, the only one up. These rounds have not been close.
No, they've been fast, too. This one, though, can Gunless clutch up? Bomb not planted yet. He's able to win one. Turn it into a 1v1, trying to use cover here. Lemony gets pushed, though, and Classic cleans him up. And back to your point you were making about those long-range fights. I know a popular one. I was talking to John from Envy. I think it was week 1, and he was saying, yeah, that's something they like to do, whether it's with an ERAD or with an NV4, like Crusher. They go to that outer lane on Crusher, and they just do one-on-one gunfights over and over again. And he told me he was playing against Cap. Cap had NV4. He had an ERAD like at range. He's like, I was beating him half the time. You gotta hit like 6 shots at that range.
I don't know if I believe that. For Cap's sake, I don't want to believe that.
Poor Cap. Maybe John was fibbing. But it's 4 in a row for LG, and they're poised to win their 2 S&Ds this weekend, and they've looked good, man.
Just look at how aggressive LG is. You see Saints catches one. They have to have an idea. And look at this. This is so good from what I'm seeing at Luminosity. They're staying together, moving as a unit. The last round, we saw them trade it out effectively. Let's see how they play this one.
Well, here they go. They're going to fly out. The first person out's Classic. He wins the gunfight. Doesn't even have to bait. Octane finds the next. It's now Silly and Arcides. They have position here on the bomb at least. They're set up nicely, but there's just so many players from Luminosity to come forward. It's now going to be all onto Silly. You have Camo to work with if you need it, but Saints doing what he can, finds the kill. 20 seconds left for the defuse. And LG it looks like a literal steamroll.
If you watched footage of this team from Dallas and S&D and right now, that you would think they were just completely different lineup.
Yeah,
I mean, they look nothing like the Luminosity from Dallas. And I think there's probably a bunch of teams sitting at home. They're like, I hope this good S&D play doesn't continue into Saturday and Sunday, because this is a team come playoff time I would not want to play if they're playing this good.
God, no. I think you know we mentioned their first series. If someone would have told us that they were going to be somewhere between 40 and 50% in their S&Ds, we would have picked them to win this group. No questions asked.
Yeah.
You did it. You know, whether it was just relying on the respawn or thinking they would improve in search. I mean, it's been both.
You see Classic with bomb in hand and Camo. Don't exactly like that play, but can't be too picky. I see him coming around the outside. This should be a kill. First blood in favor of LG. Christini takes out Saints. Slack there to trade out right away.
All right, let's see if Classic can wrap things up. He needs one more bullet into Gunless, trying to find it. They're in a 2v2. He should be cleaned up momentarily. And now, no, they're able to win the round. So they do get one. If he gets one more bullet into Gunless, that probably goes a little bit differently. Gunless, good job surviving there behind sandbags. But now you'd have to perform what very few teams in Call of Duty history have done. Come back down from down 0-5.
S&D better, still not perfect. Probably wouldn't want Classic to take the bomb in that type of situation. Has Camo, give it to either Slacked or Saints. Let Classic push up, get a kill, get bombed down, win the round with ease.
Well, you do have Camo at least for the side of eUnited, but even if that gives you one round, there's a mountain to climb behind that. Still, you see aggressive pressure mid-map, more of what we saw last week a lot. Take control of mid-map and go from there. You can see how much information they have, and that number 5 on the mid-map's a big one. That's Classic. He gets to the opposite window, flies forward and finds the kill. Gunless required to pop the Camo, only gets one there.
Octane quickly snaps and takes him out. Arcides with 2. There'll be Saints now in a 1v1. Has the reactive armor, and he's gonna pop it.
And it's like he's just trying to bide his time, but not enough. The payloads come in big for Luminosity, and that is a 6-1 stomping of eUnited in the search and destroy. Wow.
I mean, it's kind of like this is what you wanted. It's kind of frustrating. Although Luminosity is playing great, it's frustrating because it's like, where has this been like up until this point? Like, I mean, they've had so many opportunities. They don't want to see like make finals at events or make like even longer runs. But like, this is a team that like, you look at this roster on paper, Maeve, and like they're so strong in all the game modes except search. It's like if they were just doing this at in Atlanta or at Dallas, it's like, who knows how those events would have turned out?
Well, I know, just thinking back to the very beginning, when the team change happened, they go to Luminosity. I remember you and I were chatting, and I think we both took them like top 2. I think it was like Optic and them. Like we were really, really high on this team, and this is what you expect.
They have all the pieces.
Yes, they have all the pieces. Can they actually get it done? Will the 3-0 happen here over eUnited? You'll find out after this quick break. Let's take a look at our G Fuel key player matchup. Matt, these are two players you mentioned at the beginning of the series. They got to get it done here.
I mean, look at the stats for both of these guys. The S&D KD for Arcity prior to that one was absolutely sick, 2.66. And Octane, you look at his stats across the board, man, dominant with the NV4 in his hands, coming into uplink. I think whoever kind of holds serve here on Frost is going to lead their team to a victory.
Let's see who can get it done. That is your G Fuel key player matchup for eUnited versus Luminosity. We are back here for our yellow group, and you see that 0 at the bottom of your screen. eUnited yet to take a map, and for a series that I expected to go the distance. I talked to Classic outside, and I was like, what do you think series score? I mean, obviously he would say Luminosity, but he was honest. He goes, I think this goes the distance. He was thinking 4 or 5 games. Maybe not.
I mean, you saw in the eUnited versus Millennium match, it was not really that big of a blowout. Then we saw Epsilon get on stage and just kind of wipe the floor with them, and I was like, okay, like, don't know which one was different. Like, you know, if Millennium was just, you know, not up to par in the Epsilon match, and maybe they just got a little bit deflated after their first one, or maybe it was a little bit of question marks on the United side. I think now you can definitely say, you know, Luminosity obviously playing at a really high level, but eUnited not having the best first day.
And this would be Luminosity's toughest day of the weekend, right? When they play Epsilon,
yeah.
And they're also going to play eUnited. And God, is this something where, Matt, you know, we talk about it a lot in Call of Duty and sports, esports, just talking about matchups, you know, by position, where it can be difficult for certain teams. And I think you mentioned to me earlier, it's just, you feel this is a tough matchup for eUnited. Why is that?
For some reason, it just seems like it is. You know, obviously eUnited and, you know, against Optic Gaming, they do have success. But, I mean, you lose to Luminosity in Paris. Obviously, you don't put too much stock into that, but Luminosity playing with Pander, obviously Saints a huge, you know, upgrade over Pander as a player.
Sorry, Pander.
But, I mean, it's just kind of being honest. I mean, you have those 3 core players of Luminosity, you know, Octane, Slacked, and Classic. I know, just 3 very difficult players to go up against.
It looks like Gunless is also searching for the sky for answers right now and how they're going to fix this. Dear God, help us in this one. What needs to change right now for United? I mean, the uplink, obviously, it's a map they can take, but what needs to turn around?
I mean, is it just to say win gunfights? Is that the way to just kind of say turn around? I mean,
not an easy answer.
As dumb as that sounds, it's not an easy answer. It's not an easy task, but I mean, you're not going to win respawns when you know you have Pristini playing, you know, pretty negative against a team like Luminosity. Because you look on the side of Luminosity, who's going to go that negative?
Well, I mean, you
can't rely on one of those guys to play that bad.
You take that game 1 if LG doesn't, you know, explode at the end there, but you kind of just, it's gotten to a point where we kind of count on, it's like Optic. You count on some point in a respawn, they're going to go off. There's going to be just a dominant 60 to 90 seconds at some point where they completely just rail you, and that's exactly what you get with LG. Do they do it again here in Uplink is the question.
I don't know. We've seen eUnited with their backs against the wall show up in a big way. Not be surprised if they make this a very interesting series going forward.
Well, let's talk back to Dallas against Optic Gaming in that final. They go down 2-0, battle back and take the first series. They go down 2-0, battle it back to a game 5. So yes, they are certainly a team, you know, kind of like FaZe in the sense that I never count those guys out. They will fight back no matter what the series score. But it's just, I guess it's scary because these games have been so lopsided. At least, well, okay, the game 1 was close, but that search was certainly lopsided.
And this is necessarily not the best map draw for eUnited as well. You have some pretty strong ERAD players on the side of LG with Saints, Slacked, and Classic. So I think, you know, maybe this map kind of plays some into it. Be interested to see if anyone pulls out, you know, some of the things that we've seen spliced through a Fnatic with running 4 ERADs on this map. I think if anyone were to do it, it would probably be eUnited. I don't know if you'd see Octane with a ERAD in his hands.
More than likely not. But Gunless, we'll watch him off the opening break. You see on X-Ray, everybody from Luminosity flooding forward. High off the wall run, there's a team kill in for eUnited to kick things off. But Gunless still trying to hold here, playing his life as he's just kind of peeking around drone.
It's a nice shot there from Saints with the K-bar in his hand. So you're going to have actually Octane and Saints both running the K-bar, and Classic and Slacked running the ERAD. You see Saints coming here through the middle, takes out an Erad, trying to put shots in one, getting very aggressive going over the top. I believe Pristini falls to his death during that engagement as well. Slack, though, is searching for players on eUnited. Now with the drone, back towards mid-map. Let's see how these teams decide to play.
I believe it's Classic that has picked it up, and he should get a call to get forward. Maybe not after Arcides actually find a kill, but a few went the way of LG. Arcides, that lone defender there, shut everything down, making sure Luminosity can't get points to the board. Arcides keeps going off. He's actually found 4 in a row now. He's 5-2. Can we check real quick how close he's getting to building towards streak? So 50 off the Scarab, still a long ways to go, but look where Arcides is.
Well, it's actually a really nice play from LG. Instead of going out to wrap their base, they're just like, screw it. Let's challenge the other 3 players mid-map. Silly getting off to a rough start. It's going to force Arcides all the way out of the base. A nice interception there by Pristini. Prevents the 1-point play going through. Luminosity doing a good job getting eUnited back on the defensive.
Yeah, I like that play. Arcides, okay, have fun in our base. Doesn't matter. We're going to push forward and go for points. They don't connect it, but I like the play call there from LG. Drone still in the hands of Luminosity. They've been controlling it for the most part at this point. Can Pristini now make some noise for eUnited? His teammate dies in front, looking to trade the kill, struggling to find it, but finally will tag Octane to the face with his fist as he jumps back up to get another. Not able to win it. So far, 2 minutes in, we haven't seen a single score here. Who do you think's been better, though, through the opening couple of minutes?
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, we haven't seen much of offense from either team. Obviously, no scores from either team. It's really just kind of kills being traded on both sides of the map. You see Slack now working towards score streaks on a 5 streak with the drone in hand. He has some lead blockers. This is probably the best chance for points we've seen this far.
Can he get some points and stay alive is the question.
No.
Oh, God, he misses it, but he might actually find the kill. That was a whiff.
That was awful.
Yeah, didn't he play basketball, Matt?
Yeah, he played basketball with me the other day.
You shot some hoops, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely more accurate in that. I mean, that was just an awful attempt.
It's one of those, sometimes I can't tell if they miss because, hey, you know, they know they have bodies there and they just throw it forward as Gunless flirts with the disaster. But I think that was just a good old-fashioned miss. Barely over the head of one of the defensive players. eUnited strike first.
Yeah, it was Octane there going for the interception. And what should be a 1-1 game. It's a big miss there from Slack at the beginning.
All right, let's get back to mid-map. Octane with some nice shots onto Gunless. Drone out in front. Sees one player, so has to bide his time, needs a bit of help. There's someone in behind him. I think Classic was about to clean that kill up, but couldn't get there in time. Pristini actually finds both on the outside, so now it's eUnited's chance for maybe a little bit of a counterattack. Get some points going on the board. Pristini encounters one of the wall run, stays up. I was saying, if he snaps onto the one at back construction, that would have been just sick. Here, maybe a dunk, the beatdown, and the finish from Arcides. Sick stuff there. That's Pristini and Arcides getting it done, the brother duo. Nice stuff.
It's a really nice play from Arcides, and now working towards more streaks. Pristini had the drone in the middle of the map, cut down by Classic, but see Arcides just searching for more players in the LG base. Finally going to get taken down by Octane, but good start here from eUnited, battling back in this series.
With 60 seconds remaining, they have certainly taken control of this game one. Can Slack and crew get anything on the board? Drone here at the close corner, not able to win that fight against Pristini. More teammates here, though, to trade it out. One more to beat. That's Arcides going big. He's one shot in the back, and he finds 2 nice defensive kills. He's been doing it in the base of Luminosity. He's been doing it at home, and that's a big part of why you see him 16-8. I mean, he's got more kills than Gunless and Silly combined right now.
Yeah, Arcides really playing well the first half of this uplink. Going to go on the lower wall run with the drone in hand. This has been the route we've seen eUnited take the score. He gets tagged up. The shot goes off. Does not go in. LG there to clear out the base.
Yeah, he doesn't really get into a prime position for that toss. He's getting a shot, has to take it a little bit earlier than I think he wants to. Can anyone put anything through in the final 20 or so seconds on board with Classic in a position to get behind several players from eUnited? But here we go. One final attack. Slack going to be your drone carrier. He's got a couple kills to work with as well. Leading the way is Octane. He opens it up. There's 2. You have overdrive if needed. Do you think about tossing this to Octane? The blockers are there. The interception is through. And we will go to half with a 3-0 score for eUnited. They're fighting back. You know, when Gunless was searching the skies for the answer, they at least seem to have found 5 minutes of it here.
It was a really good first half put together by eUnited. Strong on the defensive end. Then they got some really good offensive plays. They're going to need Arcades to keep this play up going into the second half.
He does, unless one of the other two, and Silly and Gunless really turn it around, because Gunless I don't think is going to be anywhere near Camo. No, he's not even halfway there. Thankfully for him, Classic is struggling on the other side. So Camo looking like it might not even be a player in this game unless somebody really goes ahead and turns up.
Well, I mean, that could be the real difference in the game is too, right? I mean, imagine if, Classic starts to heat up and Gunless never gets to that point as well, and then Luminosity gets the camo use and the other team does not. That would be a huge factor going forward.
Another factor is that you see him right there as he dies, but Octane, he went off huge, kind of like Arcades, and he has the overdrive to work with. So maybe that'll come in, and with a game this low scoring, one payload use could be the decider. A lot of time to go in the second half. eUnited starting to mount some pressure on the top side of the minimap. But Classic for now, shutting it down. You see his back shield maybe saving him there, and that's a complete team wipe. 4 down for eUnited, complete map control. Now for Luminosity. Can they get their first points on the board? They're flirting with the lower wall run. There's one here to deal with. Classic punches him. Classic punches him. Keeps on going, but the 2 melee is not going to be enough. The entire eUnited team hits the wall run to shut that down.
Yeah, I was going to say, for Luminosity, that is one you needed to turn into points, and they're not able to do so. They do get back towards mid-map. Do get drone control. It's going to be Octane here, just trying to fend off players from eUnited. Nice nades there from Silly. He follows it up with Arcades, and they clean up the remaining members of LG.
There's one more player, though, here. It's Saints that was able to win it. So Saints now has drone, just backing up, playing his life. You have everybody up for your side. Look at the bottom of the minimap. That's going to be Classic going around the outside, leading the way for his team. There's an opening right now if they can find the kill. They toss it forward. Saints is there. Classic actually gets dropped. They're not able to do it. I was just staring at the minimap. They hit the bottom side really quick. Maybe they could have got off a 1-point toss, but good job from eUnited shutting that off.
Yeah, I mean, Saints there sees 3 players lined up, not able to pick up anybody. But if him or Classic picks up maybe 1 or 2 of those kills, that is definitely points for LG.
I was thinking for a second they might not even fight it. They might just go and try to sneak through. But the rotation does come in for LG. Now Slacked in an aggressive spot. Going to be a thorn on the side of eUnited here as he continues to apply pressure. Wins another gunfight. One more to deal with. High up off the wall run, but caught reloading. Drone trying to get cleared from eUnited, unfortunately for them. Saints still in a nice spot. They trade them back and forth. But Luminosity, they've been playing. Look where they are on the map. I feel like it's all been sort of on eUnited's side throughout this half, but they haven't turned it into points at all.
Yeah, that is the one positive you can say for Luminosity here in the second half, is that they've done a really nice job just upping the pressure on eUnited. I feel like every time we got on with eUnited, they're playing on the back foot, and you see Gunless actually falls off the map there. That'll be a 4 dead. Here's going to be a 2-point play for LG.
That's an easy dunk. 4 down. That's the thing. All right, so you hear us talking about aggressive positions. If you get a 4 down at mid-map, it doesn't always turn into points. If you get a 4 down in that position, it is guaranteed points. But now Arcades, with the counter, thought about going up for 1. He wants more, but it's around the back. He takes a different angle. You saw the player position there for the interception in Octane. Good route from Arcades might be the difference.
But you still have Saints on the eUnited side of the map. He was slaying out over in blue, and now you have the drone in control of Luminosity. They just need to pick up some kills.
Can they pick him up? Silly finds one outside research. They have the drone as well. Remember, Octane still has it. And what did we talk about? One of the players turning up for camo. Classic, look at that. Classic already has camo. Gunless, still a long ways to go. With 80 seconds left, he may not get it. So you have your 2 power ones here as far as putting up points. You have Octane with that overdrive. You have camo for Classic. This is a very winnable game right now.
Very interested to see how Luminosity decides to use Classic's camo. It's got a Scarab as well, but camo is the real difference maker in this one.
Yeah, I mean, if they can pick him off before he can get into a position to use it, that's going to be the key, right? Don't even let him get into a spot where he can actually pop camo. Now eUnited trying to get in and maybe get one more on the board. There's only 1 player there. It's just really Silly trying to keep up the pressure. Finally, he gets taken out.
So now you did have, okay, so for a second you had Classic with the drone in hand. 40 seconds left, he opts to replay it.
He can't get to a spot to even use it. It's been, as much as we talked about Luminosity's great pressure at the beginning, it's been all the pressure of eUnited now that's made it so Classic. You might not even use camo or use overdrive in this game.
You see Silly, he looks like he's just trying to waste the clock.
Yeah, this is perfect. Don't give Classic an opportunity. Don't let him get in his hands. It's Pristini. 3, top mid. And this may be done. They're just running it around.
So Classic actually takes out Silly, and Silly falls. That's going to be 2 dead. for eUnited. It's going to be Octane trying to get back towards mid-map with the overdrive. Not able to do so, so you don't really get a camo use here from the side of Luminosity. The pressure is too strong from eUnited, and they stay alive in this series, winning game number 3.
I'll tell you what, you wanna take notes on how to, I guess, take a camo player out of the uplink there so he can't make the difference. Don't let him get past the halfway point on the map. He was never in a position where he could make a play. Every single time Luminosity tried to get forward and fight for drone control, there was someone picking up 2 or 3 kills for eUnited. That was sick. I mean, think about the fact that, yeah, overdrive and camos didn't matter.
I mean, the only play Luminosity could have made to be a little bit different is try and, like, when they had some kills in the middle of the map, instead of, like, getting the drone, trying to run it, like, towards, like, you know, Robo Bay and inside towards the hangar, maybe throw it back towards their base, at least give you an opportunity to slow it down and get it in Classic's hands, but very difficult, very well played from eUnited at the end of that game.
Yeah, it was all just push, push, push from LG for, what, a solid 3 minutes or so to open up that second half. You kept thinking this is going to turn into points. They're going to rally. They have the payloads, but at the end, I mean, it's just like it switched there for eUnited. They had complete control. That was textbook stuff, taking Classic out of the game over the final 80 or so seconds.
And then we go into another hard point for game number 4. And we did see eUnited, you know, they had a lead most of the way through the first hard point. Luminosity just turns up at the end. Going into this one, we may end up seeing ourselves at game 5, Maeve. I think if Luminosity just closes out this hard point, you know, just play the same way they did in the first map and then just put together a better ending, they have a good chance to close it out. We take a look at the box score. We said, you know, RC's and Octane, the 2 players we highlighted coming into this one, RC's was a beast.
Yeah, Arcides, and then the other side you see Slack putting through the most points for his team, but Arcides was phenomenal. I mean, he started amazing on the first half. The only one really going toe-to-toe for him on the other side was Octane, but Arcides gets the better of it at the end. Now, this is actually an interesting thing for LG at least. You know, usually a couple weeks ago, I would have said this hard point's basically a must-win. If they get to a game 5, I don't have any faith in them to win, but after seeing how the game 2 went, you feel like maybe a little bit more breathing room? Yeah, yes, you want to win it here, obviously.
I still don't want to go to a game 5. I'm LG.
Well, obviously, but I give them a hell of a lot more chance than I may have, you know, just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, without doubt. A few weeks ago, I mean, this goes to a game 5. I mean, let's just kind of call it. Yeah, let's just call it a day. I mean, LG just looks like a different team in S&D, at least through the first 2 maps that we've seen from them. And we'll see if they can bounce back in our game number 4. It'll be a hard point yet again.
And if we've learned anything, day 1, yes, it matters. Every map matters, but things can change so drastically, so quickly. Evil Genius is a testament to that last week as they go 0-6 in map count and then just destroy the rest of the
Well, Millennium was the team a lot of the other North American teams that were here last weekend were really high on coming into this weekend. You know, thought that Millennium was one of the best teams here, potential to make playoffs. You know, they go 0-2 today, but I got to imagine, you know, some of the practice they put in, you know, being here for 10+ days, you know, scrimming some of the teams last week, playing a lot of games online has to pay off in one of these matchups.
Well, I talked to Marky B a little bit after their loss. I was like, what went wrong, man? And he said it was a lot to do with comms. They just, especially in the search and destroy, he's like, we got, I think it was like 1v3, 2v4, 2v3. He's like, we had a lot of first bloods, and typically that's your recipe to win search and destroy. Get first bloods, you win the series. But he's like, we would get first bloods, and then, you know, he's like, I had a teammate call out there's a player in one position. Next thing I know, I'm getting shot in the back by the same guy he called out. He said it was just all over the place. You got to think that's a team, though, that can fix that issue going forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, just kind of coming out day 1, a little lethargic, you know, not making the most accurate call-outs, you know, not making the smartest of plays. Stuff that's easily correctable going into day 2, but they put themselves in a pretty big hole.
I get it, man. It's tough for the first match of the day. You know, it's like you're warming up, you're playing bots, and next thing you know, you're playing some of the best teams in the world. Heck, I struggle just my first cast is usually abysmal. Like, I have to warm into casting, so I can't imagine how much these guys have to get warmed.
But you're old, so we kind of give you the benefit of the doubt,
That's true. I stretch before I cast. Now that we stand here, ooh, I'm building these calves, man.
Yeah, the standing's much better for you.
It is. It is.
Sitting, you know, you would slouch down. You'd have like a bag of Cheez-Its on yourself. You were just kind of a mess.
I'll tell you what, I have significantly.
You cut down on the Cheez-Its?
My Cheez-It intake has gone down like 200%, man.
Good for you.
Yeah.
It's not a healthy way to go about your life. But no, Scorch Hardpoint.
My heart was mad.
Yeah, no. Scorch Hardpoint's going to be a good one. So we look at this map. I think this one, I know you kind of look. I mean, we said maybe Frost kind of favors LG because of, like, you know, more ERAD play, but that ended up not to be true as eUnited came out and take that one. So I think this one could go either way.
Oh, it certainly can. I mean, as back as forth as it was, You know this is certainly one that eUnited could take and push this to a Game 5. Octane enjoying the dirt there before we get started. Will he be the man to have a big map here?
So yeah, we'll kick things off with Octane. So he'll head out towards mid-map. Now, a lot of teams do like the side that eUnited's spawning on to initially hold.
By a lot of teams, you mean every single team. Usually you're guaranteed 30, 40 points when you're coming from this side, but LG so far doing a good job holding. If they can get points here, yeah, this is brilliant. This is exactly what you could ask for, because the one advantage you do have is at least you're spawning on the proper side for Turbine, the next hard point.
Right.
But it's tough to get time as you see eUnited comes back out and retakes pretty much immediately.
Yeah, they're just able to flood the hills so much more effectively.
Yeah.
That eUnited now winning the engagements, taking the lead. Pristini starting things off on a 4 streak, pushing all the way through.
And this is what can happen. You can't allow Pristini to get set up here. You see where Luminosity was spawning out in rocks, basically, as they're going to have to fight back. So not only do they give the time to eUnited, they allow eUnited to push through and flip the spawns on them. This is a brilliant start here for eUnited.
Yeah, now Pristini, we saw him get off to a really rough start in our first hard point. But he has these games, man. I mean, he plays so fast that you're just bound to have some games where you kind of struggle in. And then he has games where he just goes absolutely bonkers. It would be huge for eUnited if he put one of those together.
Well, here we go. Luminosity was in for a moment, but eUnited bounces forward. Gunless, 5-1, 3 in a row in the Scarab right now as he's just scouting this outer wall run, able to tag up 1, maybe 2, and give the callouts to his team. The assist you see coming through for him. He's 100 off of this Scarab, so working towards streaks, and those can be so good at picking up kills on rotation. They're huge at Turbine. They're huge at Drill. I mean, streaks so important in this Call of Duty compared to some past titles.
It's a huge lead for eUnited here at the beginning of this game. See Classic and Saints in the feed. Gunless trying to take out both. Gets Classic weak, though. The trade comes in as Saints comes from the opposite way. They'll be eUnited. They'll start to rotate over towards Hangar. A very good first 2 hills for eUnited.
Yeah, that's very close. I mean, Gunless finishes that first kill and snaps on the second. You're looking at him being fully streaked out. So that's a big kill, taking him out. But eUnited continue to mount this lead. They pick up the rest of the time in Turbine, and only Classic really inside to deal with this. He's the first to drop. 2 more players from LG outside. Can they find the kills? It'll be Saints, Octane, and Slacked, all trying to bust in. You look at the minimap, you see where Classic spawned all the way out by Turbine. So he's trying to hike back, get in on the action here inside a Hangar.
Now it'll be Luminosity with 40 seconds on Hangar. They need to take this hill, Maven. They can start to make a really nice comeback if they do. Drill coming up next. It's another hard point. We see teams hold for an extended period. And Octane doing a fantastic job here, just playing his life, staying alive in the back. Arcity, so through the front side of the hard point, able to take out 3 players. Some nice shots here from Arcities as he's going on a streak.
Arcities kills all 4 of Luminosity. You see the multi-kill popping up. 6th up from him. He's had a fantastic series. I mean, despite the fact they're trailing here, Arcities has been good, right? He's played really, really well. They need him to keep it going. He's coming off the hot uplink, trying to do it here in Scorch Hardpoint as well. Challenged by 2, finished by Octane, Slacked in the kill feed as well. But LG, they've got to have just 1 good hole. They haven't had any semblance of control throughout the first half of this game.
And that's all it takes. I mean, you get 1 good hold, you get some score streaks, you get closer towards those payloads, and you're right back into it going into the second half. Here comes the Scarab from Arcities. Gunless gets taken down. So here we see Luminosity starting to get a ton of time. Slacked in the kill feed, able to pick up 1. Nobody really doing a great job in the slaying department for LG.
Well, yeah, doesn't this remind you of game 1, though? Remember, they all started slow. Basically, everyone was negative. It was a really hot start from eUnited, but then came that, 90 seconds towards the end of the game where Luminosity just completely took over. You expect it to come. When does it come? And it's more for eUnited, can you weather that storm when it happens?
Oh, without a doubt. I think that's really, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Can they weather the storm? When Luminosity starts to go on a run, how does eUnited answer back? I think that'll be the key in the second half.
Okay, well, a couple kills on the kill feed now for eUnited. They get the last tick or 2 in Drill, and they're set up at mid-bridge. So in a very good position. You saw Silly watching the outer lane. Gunless with the ERAD will be watching any kind of inside push. But as Silly falls, now you have to watch multiple angles if you're Gunless, and you get dropped. And if you're in one of those spots as Gunless, you have to rely on your teammates to pick up kills on the outside. As soon as they fall, you've got everything to watch, and Luminosity does a good job breaking.
And Classic pushes on through, picked up 3 kills, then quickly taken out. Here comes a push from eUnited, back onto the hard point. And I think if you're LG, you hold on to these spawns, get another 10 points on the board, you'd be very happy. You know, get within like 30, 35 points.
And let's see what can happen. Turbine, rather back and forth in the sense that, you know, no one got like a solid 40, 50 points, I don't believe. eUnited obviously the better of them in the first half. How much did eUnited didn't pick him the first time? Because Luminosity broke, what, once, and then eUnited got the rest?
eUnited took a lot of the time. That first Turbine.
Well, they had the first spawns. Remember, Pristini pushed through the back
Yeah.
and they found it. This time, if you look at the minimap, it's going to be all Luminosity. So they're set up very, very nicely. On the other side, Gunless is getting close to these streaks, getting close to Camo as well. We'll look at the intro gunfights here. If Gunless can pick up a couple of these kills, that'd be huge.
You can actually see on the minimap how far Octane spawned out. Gonna be on Classic and Saints to hold this down. Gunless gets inside of the hill, just forcing these players out. And it's gonna be Gunless and Pristini. They get a break. Silly there as well. Very good break there from eUnited.
Well, Gunless just trying to use the wall run here over the doorway. Sees him come out. Octane not ready for his position at all. Batman coming from the sky. A couple more bullets there, and he's probably got streaks. But he can't win it. eUnited holding on, though. Silly's still the one remaining in the hard points. The lead continues to grow. Octane trying to back it up. FTL jump to work with. He won't have a chance to hit that trigger finger as he drops pretty much immediately. A Saints team kill comes in for LG as well, and Silly just sets up Nest at Turbine. Does an excellent job. 4 streak and picking up a ton of time. Look, by the way, look at Gunless. 2 minutes in the hard point, man.
Yeah, just doing a fantastic job. 17-9, plus the hard point time. A nice use of the FTL jump there from Octane, as it's going to be Octane and Saints here over at Hangar. Classic going to come from the mid-map. So Luminosity gets control of Hangar first, but we've seen, you know, Luminosity gets control. eUnited breaks right away. Now they have the camo to do so.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you want a perfect hold here from LG, you're right back in it, but you have a Scarab to entry and find information, then maybe you back it up with the camo. But 3 kills, he can't use camo here. I mean, maybe if his teammates pick up a kill or 2, you can think about busting through, but his entire team dies while he's in the Scarab. Now you're resetting. This could be a perfect 60 here for LG.
Be a huge hill for Luminosity. Trying to get within 40 points here. Just a few seconds away, and everybody falls. And well, they didn't have to invest the camo into that. They didn't have to invest the FTL. So still going to hold on to those payload abilities.
And would 15 seconds, like that scrap time, usually be a huge deal? No, not really. You would think that's a good hill for Luminosity. The problem is they're trailing so big, right? So if you keep giving up those 15 seconds to eUnited, they're going to win the game.
Well, here's a saving grace for Luminosity, right? If they can hold on to drill and then go to bridge and maybe bait out this camo, coming around to Turbine, Classic would have hits.
That's true.
So if you can get it close and bait the camo out, then you're in a decent position.
Well, you talk about Gunless being one of the best at using that camo. Will he prove that true here? LG, solid hold and hanger, doing a really great job here at locking this down. Saints up close, finds one, tries to snap on one behind, but not able to do so. His teammate's still there to clean it up. It's Slack backing him up. Slack's still inside here, using cover.
They're taking all this hill.
Play.
They're taking all this hill right now, man.
How much is this like game 1, man? I mean, I know they haven't even like gone beast mode yet. You can see in the slang, Luminosity being outslayed, but this reminds me so much of game 1, man. They're trailing all the game, and then they come back.
It's going to be like a 5 to 6 point game going into this bridge.
Here we go, baby. We got ourselves a game. We're into our 3rd rotation. Back the bridge. Kills being traded back and forth, looking to be to the edge of Luminosity, but the close spawn and rocks there coming in for eUnited. They're going to be able to continue to flood and flood, but the gunfights still seem to be going the way of Luminosity.
And now you're putting a lot of pressure on Gunless. He wants to save that camo. Obviously, he's not used it yet. See Silly fly in with the FTL.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, Silly gets 2, Gunless backs it up, and like you said, he doesn't need to use the camo. So LG doesn't, it looks like they're spawning kind of bottom rocks there, coming over through drill. Who just popped up? Arcides, number 4, popped up on the left side, so they'll be looking pretty favorable here as we get the Turbine. But like you said, you have camo for either side, so it's going to come down for whoever makes the bigger play at Turbine with that camo.
Yeah, and you also have Saints with the reactive armor, so 2 payload abilities for LG. And when this next hard point comes up, they'll probably have, 2 cracks at it. Know if they're going to break it, because you see RC set up over here. Well, actually, that's a 3 dead. If you're Luminosity, I would just give up on this time and just go.
Yep, they run out, they go get set up. Arcides wisely tries to stay alive, gets the points, just trying to play his position here, tagging him up. His teammates did to get to him. He needs help immediately. You have a 4v3 advantage. This has got to be the camo. Gunless out comes in with it, looking for the kill. Saw one to his right, wants to get into the backside here, trying to find anything he can. Does close out one. I think reactive just got popped from Saints on the other side. Saints uses the reactive, gets it. Classic uses his camo as well. Luminosity doesn't get the break though. You end up using your camo. You also use the reactive armor, but it's not enough to get it done. eUnited still holding.
And Luminosity going to need at least a contest here to force Hanger. I think that's their best opportunity. I mean, they get a contest here. Obviously, eUnited can't win the game on this hard point, and then they got to go cross map. Octane wins 2 gunfights, trying to get close to the hard point. Classic coming in as well. That's going to be a full hold, though, from eUnited. And we should be seeing a game 5.
All right, baby. Classic said he thought this series was going the distance. Maybe if his mind changed after the first 2 games. Sorry, pal. You're in for a long one. It's now back to search and destroy, and the question is, what has plagued Luminosity throughout the course of the year? Will it happen again here, or can they close it out and win 2 S&Ds?
Currently, they're 2-0 in search and destroy, man. It's kind of weird to say. You know, they've dropped some hard points. They're winning the S&Ds. That is one where if they don't start that far in the hole, they can maybe make that comeback. But eUnited, so strong, you know, at the beginning of the game, and they do a lot of nice plays there to close it out.
Imagine if LG do take this. Like, if you had told me LG eUnited went to game 5 and LG won the series taking both S&Ds, I would have told you you were lying to me.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
It comes down to the game 5, our final map of the night for the day 1 of the Call of Duty World League GPL. We'll be right back after this quick break. If you're just joining us, we have a Game 5 coming up. There's your maps. Luminosity take it 2-0 to start the series. eUnited have now battled back. And to be fair, every game has been incredibly close outside of the Game 2 surge.
Yeah, which is a big surprise. Luminosity came into this one. Obviously, the only thing we were worried about them was their S&D. And they actually lose 2 respawns in a row. Now we're going to a Game 5.
Ah, God, all right, gotta do it. Who are you taking here in Game 5?
I'm gonna go with Luminosity. I just don't even know why. I mean, you know, obviously they've looked good in S&D. I mean, we've only seen them 2 maps, but still, from what we've seen, they look like a different team. But I will say there are some times where they've been doing good in S&D in the past at previous events, and then it gets close and like big moment, they slow down. They play passive. It's a big match for them. You may see them start to kind of bring some of that back out. They need to stay aggressive if they're going to win.
I'm going to United. I'm taking it because I said Luminosity would win 60% of their searches, and this gets me closer to that number. That's
well, you also said, so you, hold on, so you picked them to win 60% of their searches but get relegated? How is that even possible?
Well, I made that decision after their first series.
Like, that's not even like, not even like, that's not even possible.
I'm not going to argue and say anything that comes out of my mouth.
They would have to win like 20% of their respawns for that to even be something that could be mathematically possible.
I'm a man of many wonders. Some call me a prediction god, Matt.
And others call you an idiot.
Most people call me an idiot, Matt.
Yeah, I would say 70% of people.
Yeah,
70%. We're going to throw numbers on things. I would say, what, 65?
Yeah, 70% of the world's population.
That's like
8 million people.
Whenever we used to cast Riot, Search and Destroy, every time you just made up a different percentage for how much the offensive team would win.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Here we go. Game 5. It is gunless, and you know, we talked a bit. Yeah. They won that first retaliation. They looked really, really good. Jack and I were casting it. They looked great. Gunless was doing a really good job of getting those first bloods. But as I say that, Slacked will be the first one to find a kill. Gunless tries to tag him up from behind there in bedroom.
And I would love to see at the end of the day what Luminosity's first blood percentage is in S&D, because I feel like in the second map and in the first series I saw, they were doing a nice job getting first blood, being aggressive towards mid-map. That's already 1 here. In our first round, obviously, in this last match, it'll be RCSO coming from the backside, able to take out Octane, even it up at 3 players apiece.
All right, so we're all tied up here, waiting for the bomb to be planted. There we go. It's planted now at the B site. You see, for Luminosity, the number 8 on the minimap trying to push through Hotel. That's going to be Saints. 2 other players trying to push through Market Steps. The collapse going to be coming shortly, but it's Gunless winning 1 in front of Bike, and this is where he was going nuts. He completely dominated in Bike the last time we saw him play this. Sexy stuff there from Gunless.
So Luminosity gets first blood. Gunless taking players out, able to give eUnited a first-round win. And Gunless, bomb plant picks up some kills. Talk about how Camo makes an impact in these final moments. Gunless, one of the best, if not the best, with Camo.
Well, let's see if Classic on the other side is maybe able to do that, but Gunless, nice start here. 2-0, him and Arcides find all the kills. And that one, he's 125 off the Scarab, almost halfway to it. And there, a first blood for Pristini. So last time it was Slack that opened things up for Luminosity. This time, it's going to be the defense of Pristini. Arcides tagged up mid-street, able to get away with his life.
You can already tell, though, Luminosity playing a little bit different. Obviously, first 2 rounds, not really so telling, but they're just really passive these first 2 rounds. They did not win that first S&D playing passive. They didn't, hey, let's all hit B. Let's win the gunfights over on that side. Let's all go A. Let's win the gunfights on that side. You have not seen that in the first 2 rounds.
You think just due to this map, a little bit harder to do, maybe?
Obviously.
Longer sight range, not as easy to just fly at people. They've got the edge for a second here, but Octane, as he drops, is not going to be Slacked. The last one alive. There you go. 2 rounds for eUnited.
So next round is going to be a big one for Luminosity. Obviously, a lot of the momentum going in favor of eUnited. They go up 3 rounds to 0. Then Luminosity probably starts getting in their own head and thinking, hey, are we going to have our S&D woes come back to life?
It has to be something. I mean, when it plagues you for the last 2 years, really, it's got to be something that jumps into your head a bit. And look at this. Gunless and Arcides combine for 7-0 to start. They basically have every one of their team's kills. And this is where Gunless, it's his bread and butter in here. He wins these gunfights. Look at how annoying he is. Look at how annoying he is. Backs up, uses the pillar, wins it. Pristini tries to give Luminosity a freebie with the team kill, but now it's Slack by himself. Gunless, it just looks like so annoying to fight.
And it's a eUnited just being the more aggressive team. I mean, you see they get right into Garage. They're able to win one. Pristini picks up 2 quick kills. It's 3 kills, I believe, for Pristini in the round. As eUnited jumps up 3-0 real quick.
And we know Gunless still hasn't dropped. I'm not sure about Arsity, but I think they're both still without a death. Yeah, so who do you want to go to? Patrick Price, it's all you. You pick. Arsity's 5-0, Gunless 4-0. This is a poor start for Luminosity.
You see LG trying to take advantage in the middle of the map. You see both arrows. It'll be Classic and Slack pushing up towards Hotel Hallway. Classic gets first blood. A nice push there from LG.
Well, you've had a couple first bloods now, but they haven't turned into round wins as of now. Can you do it here? They've got the edge. Gunless in his home. He didn't even see the player who's left, still managed to stay alive. Finally, they take 2 players to take him out. They collapse on him, and now the bomb will be planted for Classic. Garcides doesn't finish that kill somehow. Thought he had him dead. Maybe the back plate ends up keeping him alive, but whatever it is, Luminosity gets around on the board.
It does, and I would love to know where Arcides is at that moment in time towards Streaks, because he had not dropped at that point, right?
No, him, that's first death for him and Gunless. They had to be kind of close.
I mean, he had to be kind of close. I mean, what, he's like 5-0, 6-0, so potentially could have been a pretty big kill there. Missed by Arcides.
That's one of those ones, man. That back armor, it'll surprise you. You know, the time to kill players just have it ingrained in their head. It takes so many bullets.
Pretty convenient to have a back shield.
Yeah, it helps. But you know, you just have that time to kill, and you've killed. You know how many people in this? You expect that player to die. It doesn't happen. You're like, oh god, and you start to panic. But let's see if LG can keep it going. Another first blood. This time it'll be Saints. LG roaring back. The second challenge not going to go his way, but his teammate there to trade it out. So Classic still giving the edge to LG as the round continues to develop.
It's going to be just 1 player alive. Gunless, the only one up. He was back down in Garage. So now I think Luminosity, they've made some adjustments, right? They know exactly where Gunless is playing. In the previous round, what they did is they got Classic to get first blood in that top hotel room, and then they just kind of pinched him. Like, he couldn't exit out the back towards the site. He couldn't exit out the front. So they've done a nice job just kind of leaving Gunless there. Just let him stay there. And just let's eliminate everybody else and force him to come out of there and make a play.
Yeah, hey, well, they definitely, it's like forcing the rat out of the hole there. He flies out. You got 3 players looking at him. I don't think forcing a rat out of a hole is a statement at all. I just completely made that up.
Where is this rat in the hole?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Here we go. Round 6. Slacked trying to find the opening kill for his team. Classic sees a couple opposite him. Nice nade there. Should tag up Pristini. Nobody able to help there and trade out the kill. Pristini has backup to work with as well, and he wants to go for it. This is not going to be an easy gunfight whatsoever. He loses it. Pristini takes it. Pristini wins that patience battle. Kills going back and forth, Matt.
But there needs to be follow-up right away. Slack picks up 2 kills, but you know, if he's a little bit faster, maybe he's able to save Classic, and they keep him up. But they do have bomb in hand.
Well, these are
now set up on top plat.
Sorry to cut you off, but these are the situations you talk about that Luminosity usually struggles, right? These middle rounds where it's 2 versus 2, and it comes down to, you know, communication, strategy. This is where they haven't done as well. Let's see if they can do it here.
Gunless spots both players, so eUnited knows exactly what Luminosity's trying to do here. Just keep an eye on the clock as well. Only 27 seconds left. Luminosity in a very tough position.
Luminosity looking to make the play. The bomb seems to be getting planted right now. Yeah, Slack does get it in. Slack's going to earn his payload to work with as well. Now Gunless and Silly have to work the retake. The first gunfight seems to be going down. You saw the FTL jump on the minimap from Slack. He doesn't find any kills, so it's Saints now by himself. Saints trying to stay alive, getting tagged up. He's still alive. Now is going to come in the pinch. They've got him trapped inside, not able to win it. Silly gets it done. Tons of time here for the defuse. They'll give it to Gunless to work towards that camo, and it's another round on the board for
so
United.
So that's a perfect situation, right? I mean, Luminosity, they get bombed down. There's no reason to really kind of go and push that out. They could have just played back-to-back inside of Garage and just held that.
Yeah, it was weird to see. Like, Saints just seemed like he got caught in that awkward spot like under scaffolding, kind of the bottom of that rampway there, and he just couldn't figure out how he wanted to play it. And once he got pinched there, obviously 2 players collapsing, not a whole lot he could do. But Luminosity still in this. They've proved they can go toe-to-toe and search and destroy with the eUnited as they destroyed them in the game 2. They've got a lot more to do here in our game 5.
You see, on your mini-map, Luminosity getting very aggressive now on defense. Classic slides right underneath one. Octane able to finish him off. It's a quick kill from both teams, traded out. You just see, oh, it's Gunless inside
man.
garage again.
Anti-pop camo. Oh, he pops the camo, but doesn't actually get the kill. Now it's going to be on RCDs. This could be a huge round for LG. If they're able to take this and the camo gets burned, the final player, it's going to be 1v1. RCDs now going up against Octane. Can RCDs clutch this and bail out his teammate?
But see, these are the times where you know that Gunless carries the bomb. You know the bomb is down. You have a man advantage. Why are you running around?
Yeah, you gotta be ready to trade that out. Don't give him a free kill.
It's these late round situations that really have plagued LG in the past.
You just gotta think in this spot. You gotta take RCDs here, even though you have the higher ground from Octane. He's just gonna fly at him. He knows he's tagged up. He's got the E-Rad. He goes soaring. eUnited 1 round away.
Those are some nice shots by RCDs to get him weak.
And no hesitation. I love it. Zero hesitation. Flies at him. You see how tagged up he was from those first shots at the MV4.
Yeah, he knows he has him dead. NV4 also helps. He has an E-Rad in his back pocket. Can just get right up on top. Nice shots by RCDs. Winning that 1v2 situation against Saints and Octane as eUnited is 1 round away from completing the reverse sweep.
You hate to say it, but it looks to hold true. Silly has FTL jump, the only payload currently available here. Silly just waiting patiently at the bottom of scaffolding. He should have a free kill in front of him in a moment. There it is, able to pick it up. It's now going to be 2 players alive for LG, turned into a 2v2 by Classic. And now again, these late round situations where you wonder if LG is going to be able to win it.
Let's see what they decide to do this time. Be Classic and Slacked going up against Silly and Gunless. Silly does have his payload ability. Gunless able to take it out. So you see, nobody there to trade out right away. I mean, nobody close. I mean, Slacked right there has got to be either closer to Classic. Like, they got to be able to, stick together and make these plays.
That's it. That's it. The reverse sweep. eUnited take out LG and now are in control after day 1 of the yellow group. And as much as we have got hyped about the S&D for LG, how strong they looked, it's still the game 5 that catches them there.
That was the old LG in S&D. I mean, they went back to playing like how we've seen in previous events, not together in 2v2 situations, not being aggressive at the beginning of rounds. That S&D LG cannot show up the next 2 days.
I think there were 3 different 2v2s, and they all went the way of eUnited. I mean, it was beautiful stuff. You trust those guys to make the plays in those situations, and they get it done. So it will be a 2-0 start here for eUnited. Millennium at the bottom, sitting at 0-2, and then the middle of the pack, we've got our 1-1 squads. But God, what's your biggest takeaway from that? Because I mean, LG did look bright at S&D at times.
You can never count eUnited out. I mean, the scoreline just does not matter.
Ice in the veins for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't crumble. They don't crack under the pressure. I mean, you go to the listen-in or whatnot, like team chat with them, whether it's game 1 or game 3, and they're down or up. Like, it's just the same type of tone. I mean, these guys are just, they're cool as hell, man.
And Gunless just dominated in bike there on the map 5 retaliation, search and destroy. Speaking of Gunless, we've got him ready with Courage.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. One final interview tonight, again, with our winners. This time around is eUnited. They get the reverse sweep over LG. And Gunless already, you were roasting yourself a little bit with a camel plate. We'll get to that in a second. But first, for this series, what was going wrong for you guys at the first half of this one? What did you guys turn around going into game number 3?
The first 2 maps, the vibes and communication were not there. None of us really warmed up. We were kind of just all there just to kind of play. But first 2 maps kind of warmed up a bit. And then I just kind of gave a little speech, said, all right, guys, everybody start calling out. Everybody just say what you want to do, leadership role. Everybody can be that guy.
Well, you mentioned you gave a little bit of a speech. It gets you guys to game 5, and you guys wound up clutching up in Retaliation S&D, one of your stronger S&D maps, but you roasted yourself right away. What happened with that camo? Because I don't think we really caught it on stream, and what was going through your mind when it happened?
I got turned on my camo by Slacked pretty badly. I'm not going to lie. He slid in a bike. I killed somebody with, and then got camo, popped it right away because it was absolute. Saw Slacked, I guess a little bit panicked a bit, and then shot him, and then he kind of just ended me right there at that point.
Well, you roasted yourself for it, but don't worry. You guys won the map now. You're 2-0. You're feeling good. You're moving on for this weekend. You've got Millennium tomorrow. From what you saw today from them, what are your expectations for that matchup? Are you guys feeling confident for the rest of the weekend now?
Yeah, I'm feeling confident, honestly. I don't think Millennium was here on Friday, to be honest, like their whole game. I'm really expecting some good matches tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, there's a lot to look forward to still in this yellow group. One thing we know for sure, eUnited are on top right now. Thank you so much, Gunless. Take it away.
What a way to close out day number 1. It's eUnited with the perfect 2-0 record, but a very tight series going up against Luminosity. Our analysts are the big winners, though, on the day. 3-1 across the board. Mediocre job well done, everybody. Joe?
I'm 4-0.
No,
No, he's not.
Don't let him call.
What?
You called LG.
Oh, you're right, I did.
You called LG 3-0, and you were so pumped going into that Frost uplink.
Yeah, I was. And then that happened, so no, I'm 3-1. You're right.
And big props to both of you guys. Off camera, you said this was going to a Game 5, and it was going to eUnited. Why were you so confident that they would be able to finish strong?
Honestly, I thought LG was not going to win the search, and they ended up winning the search. So that was that. And then eUnited came back game 3 and 4 really hot and completed the O2 sweep.
Chance, thoughts overall? Are these the two teams we're going to see moving on to the playoffs?
More than likely. Epsilon's in an okay spot maybe to be able to take down Luminosity in the future, but I think the road's just a little bit too tough coming out on the bottom side of their group. Luminosity, again, they improved on their search and destroy, it appears, at least a little bit. They were able to take down eUnited, and they've already got that respawn game mode there, and then eUnited is still those world beaters, so they're looking good too.
All right, guys, let's take this from the top. Game number 1, the first hard point. Pretty good win for this Luminosity squad. Joe, how surprised were you to see them jumping off to a hot start?
Not too surprised, but I mean, that first half was 149 to 90, and that's a pretty big lead, and they were down by a lot. eUnited put a lot of emphasis on controlling Cathedral. Luminosity, though, a huge break on that destroyed building, allowed them to get hallway control, and that was really the difference. That first hill, bridge, and hallway, that's where Luminosity was able to take the game 1 away from eUnited.
Talking about game number 2, search and destroy. Saints continues to impress, dropping big numbers, felonies. What has he done differently with his search game?
They're just playing aggressive as a unit. That whole entire throwback S&D, Classic and Saints took over middle map and forced that eUnited squad just to be stuck at that bowling bus and down at A bomb, and they just pretty much just kept middle control going that whole entire game, and it worked out for them.
And Joe, game number 3, this is where things started to turn sour for Luminosity. eUnited looked like they were getting outslayed for a bit, but were still able to outscore their opponents. Let's take a look at the box score here. Arcides starts heating up, 33 bomb, a 1.43, and is also involved with 3 of their 4 scores.
Yeah, I mean, Arcides, he's an assault rifle player, and when him and his twin brother Pristini are on, this eUnited team is so hard to stop. I mean, Gunless, considered one of the best players in the world, and when these two are playing well, they're so aggressive with the entire squad. It's so hard to stop. And eUnited, uplink, it's been their momentum shifter. It's what always keeps them in games. They go down 2-0 plenty of times. We always see them bounce back in this game number 3.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about perhaps one of the biggest moments, if not the biggest moment in the entire series, Slacked on Frost on that first half, has an opportunity to hit the 1-point shot, whiffs it off to the left. Immediately, eUnited takes it all the way across the map and gets a score on the board. So if you reverse that, if Slacked hits that shot, not only do they get more points, the situation is going to be completely different for eUnited. They might not be able to get a score on the board. And again, it was a 2-point game. Every single point matters.
That uplink was huge, Felony.
Yeah, at the end of the uplink, Classic also had his camo. He didn't get to use it. When the ball was in their base, what they could have done was wrap the ball all the way back to blue side. That way that they could utilize the camo. But instead, eUnited ended up getting ball control and just wall running with the ball and buying time.
All right, well, the biggest game, arguably, was game number 4. We were all on the edge of our seats here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this one. Early on, we thought, all right, maybe this is Luminosity's, but when you saw it go to Turbine, you knew this was going to be all over. First, though, let's take a look at Arcides' big hill break. This is when he killed all 4 of them, Chance.
Yeah, it was pretty nutty, some of the stuff he was able to do. You can see actually right there, Octane kind of lines up, inadvertently gets himself killed along with his teammate. Arcides predicts where the next 2 players are going to be coming from and single-handedly got his squad an even bigger lead. But again, if you go back to that box score, the 2 biggest standout things on Turbine, eUnited was absolutely shredding, and we went to that hill 3 total times. On the flip side, Luminosity, owned on drill. I think you saw eUnited only got 3 points in its entirety, but you only saw that hill twice. And one of the biggest factors for eUnited, one of their problems was they had a team kill each time around. When they were getting ready to contest, potentially break the hill the first time, Silly gets shot in the back by Gunless, and then Gunless immediately falls, and then that entire push is stopped. And then the second time around, I can't remember who it was, but there was a team kill with some nades. So those small mistakes, again, you saw that lopsided score 99-3 on drill. But again, Turbine came up 3 times, so it is what it is.
And in that final Turbine hill, that's where we saw the chaos. It was basically 5 or 6 payloads being used, everyone pulling out all stops. Joe, how did eUnited lock it in at the very end?
It was scary, actually, because these guys, they decided to 3-push the middle hill. Luminosity picks up all those kills. Luminosity actually has control early on in the Turbine. Luckily, though, Gunless goes big with camo. I believe Silly has reactive. They're able to break Luminosity. That was the hill they had to, and they did have some payloads, but just bad timings. eUnited's able to control that hill, gets the spawns, and makes it very difficult for Luminosity to get back into that game.
And I think as we touched on, the Twins were the key at the start of that game. Arcides and Pristini off to a hot start, gave them the lead, and eventually they were able to mount a comeback after LG had taken the lead in the second half. Let's talk, though. Game 5, the decider, the one we were worried about for Luminosity. We have TP at the telestrator to break down the very beginning round. What happened, TP? Where were things going well for LG?
Basically, when we talk about these top teams and why they're so good at extending out these series and pulling off reverse sweeps, it's round like this that really explain the full story, in my opinion. So as we break down this round number 1 for eUnited, they end up getting first blooded on this side towards the B bomb site. And usually, when you get a first blood, LG probably should win that round like, what, 90% of the time as far as the stats go. But let's break this down real quick and show what sort of plays were made to change the sway of that round. So Slack gets a first blood. He's looking over towards this B site. He's able to get that early kill over on Silly. And a lot of teams would probably just continue whatever strategy they called out, get that bomb down towards that B site. But no, eUnited takes the time and they slow down the round. They make a call, and they give a player on the other side of the map, Arcides, the time. He needs, 10, 15 seconds to make this play, gain this information, and get all the way into curve, into hotel. He's able to get all that map control open, meanwhile, Pristini and Gunless are literally just waiting for him to call out anything. He's able to pick up this player in the back. And here's where I think the big difference maker is. A lot of players would have stayed in that area, looked for another kill, got a little bit too kill hungry. No, he knows he shouldn't have got that kill in the first place, and instead, he gets all the way back out to his team. So now they can continue that same strategy they had originally. They go to the bomb over here, they lay it down, and then Gunless doing what he does best, he gets the bomb down, messes with the guy at market once they rotate over. LG got a good setup at platform, as you can see here, but Gunless gets away with the ERAD, goes all the way back in the bike. Pristini backs up with his teammate over at bridge and sets themselves up perfectly to win the round. Gunless ends up getting 2 over towards that B bomb site, and it's absolutely perfect plays. So LG gets the first blood. Their setup was perfect on defense, but eUnited slows it down and gets Arcides that opening over towards curve. So let's roll this clip and see how well. You can see the communication at work as to why eUnited is a top team, a top 2 team arguably. So you can see a normal strat. We're working over towards this B site. We've seen it a million times. LG stacking up plat, something you should definitely do. Pristini gets bopped out towards that street. And now they're just waiting. They see Slack back out. They're like, we don't really like this situation. Just staying alive. They know they can't just, give away another death for free. And that's when you see the rotation, number 4 on your minimap over there on the top left. He starts to, I don't see anything towards A. Let's see what I can find over here. And sure enough, that's a player. And I'm out. I got to get out of here. Back to my team. They go back to their normal strategy. And that's where a lot of players I feel like that's the difference maker. Arcides he's so good at playing his life in respawn, in search and destroy, knowing when he shouldn't have gotten a kill in a situation, getting out with his life, and giving his team a fighting chance. So we can see how the rest of this game plays out. Gunless gets the first on Classic there. Some nice shots with that ERAD over towards those player. And that's the round. It's just so impressive. It's somewhat of a simple strat, but giving your players time is so important. So that's all I got. Back to you guys.
Great stuff, TP. Awesome patience seen by Arcides. And I was watching back the Rise versus Fnatic games from last week, and you guys showed some incredible search and destroy. A lot of the credit, though, went to Aqua in the way that he was able to get those first bloods and pull back just like that. What is eUnited's strength when it comes to search and destroy?
eUnited played very well late into the rounds. The situational plays is really what separates a lot of good S&D teams from the ones that aren't so good and don't win that many searches. Later into the rounds, they played their 2v2s really well, and they clutched up when they had to.
And to me personally, like watching back that round, Luminosity, they're in a 4v3. eUnited would probably be a team that pushes that 4v3. They go searching, you know, in that sort of pack of wolves that they have, and they go looking. Luminosity, they get that first blood, and they back up. Even when Arcees picks up that kill, they allow Gunless to plant that bomb. You have to be able to sort of see him planting and be able to push it out. They just played way too afraid on that round number 1.
Gunless was controlling the bikes, and that's something we gave credit to Saints earlier. It seemed that Gunless had the better ERAD on the map, but where it really went wrong for LG for me was the 2v2, and this is where Mr. X, he pointed it out. Chance, Merc, break this down here as we look at the 2 versus 2. It's Gunless and Cillian. Gunless spots him first with an ERAD, not the weapon of choice here in this situation.
It was all about information, though. Gunless, the position he put himself, they know the Luminosity guys are somewhere on that side of the map. In the spot he was in, he was able to spot the players crossing back and forth, and he can call the players when they go up into that scaffolding area. So he calls it out, doesn't go for any crazy challenge himself. He knows there's a second player somewhere, lets his teammate pick up the first kill, and just keeps getting that information. So he doesn't have the right gun for his job, but he can communicate to his teammate that does.
That would have been a huge round for LG. Instead, the momentum went right back to eUnited, and they are able to finish this one 6-2. Gunless drops 8-3. Felony, you said, watch, he's only going to lose 3 rounds. It'll be the 3 times that Gunless loses. They only drop 2 here as eUnited gets it done in 8. This is the team to beat right now. They're on top of the leaderboard, and after watching all of the squads that played them today, who do you think is going to be the biggest threat on the weekend? Is it definitely LG, or could you see maybe a Millennium or Epsilon if they're able to fix their mistakes, causing problems for eUnited tomorrow?
I think the only person or the only team that'd be able to top out eUnited right now would be Luminosity. Obviously, they were up 2-0 right now. Going back into tomorrow and Sunday, they just have to make sure that, hey, if we're up 2-0, we need to make sure we close out the series early. Don't let them build their momentum back up for the Game 5.
I think Epsilon, man. I think they have a chance, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't think Luminosity, their search and destroy hasn't improved that much. We saw those 2v2s, those 3v2s. Their communication is still very lackluster. I think the reason they won that game number 2, throwback plays into their hands. They are allowed to play very aggressive. It allows them to sort of take control of middle map. But those other search and destroy maps, they're still not that good at them yet. So Epsilon, on the other hand, I think they have a very good uplink. This was actually today the first one they dropped on land together as a team. And they also have a very good search and destroy game. So I think Epsilon is going to be able to take eUnited to the distance.
Some big numbers there for Epsilon. Let's take a look at the overall stats here from day number 1. Chance, break it down for us. We see Millennium is in the hole 0-2, but now it's a 2-way tie for second between LG and Epsilon.
I mean, that really is just a head-to-head, but Epsilon, they really showed two different shades of themselves. When they played against Millennium, Josh was screaming his head off. They were getting hype, a much higher energy game, but when they were playing against, I think it was Luminosity that ended up beating them, if I remember correctly, completely flat. They won that first map, and they were a little bit, kind of smiley, but as soon as they got in that search and destroy, they were just not the same team at all. So I don't know if there's a bit of a mentality kind of block going into those NA teams, but they just didn't seem to have enough.
And here's a look at tomorrow's schedule. We get to see Millennium taking on Luminosity to open the day. Then they'll go up against eUnited again in match 3. Gunless said, we didn't see the right Millennium on day 1. They didn't show up. Will they be able to do it tomorrow? That's the big question. Fellas, at the end of day 2, who are you calling to be at the top of the leaderboard?
eUnited still.
I think it'll still be eUnited, but I think Epsilon will give them a good run.
I just think eUnited with all the confidence in the world.
All right, 4 more matches. It all kicks off tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is week 3 of the Call of Duty World League Global Pro League. And tomorrow, the action picks off.